Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. As requested, I decided to do a video about the P.K.A Gustav. This video took me a while as I gathered some more background information from the books I have. Now let's get started. First, the development of P.K.A. When the mercenary troops deployed AFS, the Strong Army realized they need something like that or something better than that to strike back. Therefore, the X-PKA was presented to the Strong Army War Weapon Development Office, and the following specifications were issued by the Strong military authorities. They listed 5 demanding requirements. First, maintaining mobility superiority over enemy AFS. Second, maintain fire superiority over enemy AFS. Third, it must have armament protection to prevent direct hits from the high-energy lasered guns equipped by the enemy AFS and general small arms, as well as projectile shell fragments from enemy standard field artillery in medium range. Fourth, maintaining close support and interdiction capabilities. Fifth, the average maintenance man-hour should be 10 or less. As a response to the tricky specifications, Dr. Ferdinand Riebisch from the War Ordnance Development Bureau, who was designing a light combat aircraft for close air support and reconnaissance missions, proposed to combine the development of P.K.40 and X-PKA. The P.K.40, which was commissioned in 2875, was famous for its maneuverability and operability, as well as the strength of its airframe structure and its heavy armor protection, which is among the best for an aircraft in the Strong Army. This aircraft earned it a very high reputation among the frontline soldiers. However, since it has been in service for 9 years, the onboard electronics was conspicuously outdated, and the poor fixed armament of dual 14.5mm machine guns have also become a problem. Dr. Riebisch's plan was to remove the nose cockpit of this light combat aircraft and install the X-PKA itself as a cockpit. Due to the need for aerial mobility and pilot's visibility in air, the head of the P.K.A prototype, which had only a narrow opening like the AFS, was replaced by a bulletproof canopy. On May 4, 2884, a test flight of the X-PKA mounted on a modified P.K.40 took place. As a result, it was concluded that the engine output of the aircraft was slightly insufficient, and it was decided to replace the engine with a more powerful Jumo 4BN engine to increase the output. The name of this engine, I think, was inspired by some World War II German Junker engines. Besides that, to compensate for the increased overall weight caused by the more powerful engine, one of the two 14.5mm MG313 machine guns was removed. Although this modification further weakened the poor armament of the P.K.40, the remaining machine gun was replaced with a new 14.5mm machine gun MG315 that can fire 1,500 bullets per minute. This allowed it to keep its firepower roughly equivalent to its original armament, each with a rate of fire of only about 800 rounds per minute. However, despite these efforts, the maximum flight speed was only increased by 20 km per hour, as the air resistance and the weight of the aircraft has increased. The P.K.40 remodeling work led by Dr. Riebisch ended in this way, and on June 21, 2884, an official public test was held with the participation of many important military personnel, and the remodeled P.K.40, later known as P.K.41 Hornets, and the P.K.HO became officially enlisted in the Strong Army. Some of you might have found an interesting detail here. The P.K.A in this picture has no shoulder armor plate. Since the early P.K.HO type was, primarily operated as the pilot of harness, a rather simple manipulator was installed, and many HO-type suits have removed the shoulder arm plates to reduce the takeoff weight. Now let's talk about the combat scheme. Usually the P.K.A and P.K.41 harness follows the same combat scheme to distinguish themselves from the P.K.40, so that the logistic personnel wouldn't confuse the two. After all, the P.K.40 has been serving in the Strong Army for 9 years. However, Unlike the P.K.40, which has no need to blend themselves into the combat environment, the P.K.A and P.K.41 developed a variety of camouflage to decrease their battlefield visibility, to better carry out recon missions. The standard combat scheme color for P.K.A H0 is noted at the left down corner, a brownish color called Growl 26. Here on the left side is the combat scheme of a H0 type P.K.A in one of the 343 ground support platoon operating in the desert area of Australia in May 2886. The unit has a significant higher survival rate compared to other units in the region, so it was less exhausted. But later this unit was destroyed by the mercenary-sized high-performance anti-gravity fighter, Valkyr, and many were captured. Now let's move to the middle one. In November 2885, 2nd Lieutenant Hans Sachsenberg of the 2nd Heavy Tank Battalion Headquarters Platoon was deployed in Northern Ireland. The 2nd Lieutenant carried out numerous air support missions for the Nutruckers. It was said that the Hans was a strange man. Although he's the son of a shoemaker, but he likes to live barefoot even in winter. I guess there must be a complex father-son relationship there. The one on the right-hand side is the combat scheme of Gerhard Roll, the commander of the 2nd Night Attack Regiment. The strong army thought they could use the Hornets to strike the mercenary troops at nighttime and cause some panics among the enemy. However, the airframe structure of the P.K.41 was not so well designed. It caused too much light reflections and noise in nighttime ground attack operations. This made the 2nd Regiment very visible targets during the operation. Therefore, the unit was disbanded after just 2 months. But Commander Raud managed to destroy one AFS in his final mission. Now, this is the end of today's episode, and thank you for watching the whole video through. And I know I have been getting a bit slowed in terms of updating on this channel because I just have a baby girl in the house, so everything is a bit messy these days. I'll try to catch up with my sleep a bit, and if I have more free time, for sure I will keep updating on this channel. Thank you.